Hello, Commanders, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous Return from Beagle Point. Before we get started, our topic for today's discussion is going to be living with / dealing with / whatever it is you want to say, criticism, especially when it comes to doing something in a public space. But before we get into any of that, I would like to remind, or at least if you haven't already, please be sure to check out the GoFundMe link in the description below. As well as hopefully in the comment, if I remember to put it in there. Our mother-in-law's car got totaled, and she had a liability only, and we have no way of replacing her car, and she really needs one. So if you would like to do a good deed, please be sure to click that link and, you know, donate whatever you feel is appropriate. None of that money has anything to do with me. It's all to just replace her car. And then the second thing that I always cover is, for those of you who are new, the purpose of this journey has been to increase our exobiology rank to the point where we get into the elite status, as well as working to make enough money to hopefully buy... Oh, that's okay. Hold on just a second. I forgot something. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Got a text message that was kind of important. Anyways, and let me actually put my phone on silent so that you guys don't hear that again. Also, trying to purchase enough, or trying to get enough money to be able to purchase a fleet carrier to take all of our ships out into the black and kind of do the exploration thing that way. As you can see, we have a cycle of operations that we typically do. We will pop the discovery scanner to see how many bodies are in the system. Then we'll do a fuel scooping operation. Then we'll hop into the full spectrum system scanner looking for high value planets. We're looking for ammonia worlds, water worlds, and Earth-like worlds. You can see down there in the bottom right. We don't have any in this system, so after that, if there are 15-ish ore bodies in the system or less, we'll go ahead and do a full-on scan like this. Up in the upper right corner of the screen, you'll see features over there. We are looking for biological features, hoping to find, oh, there we go, something like that. At least 2. We want to find at least 2 biological signatures before we're going to commit to flying all the way over there and spending the time to do that. So we'll go ahead and finish. Oh, we got another one in here. We're going to go ahead and finish scanning this system, and then we'll go scan some features. So let's get this done. We'll get to the topic here in a second after I finish scanning, because it's a little bit hard to talk and focus on this at the same time. There we go. All right. So let's get our Super Cruise Assist set up, and away we go. So as I said, the topic of today's discussion is dealing with criticism, living with criticism, learning to handle criticism, whatever version of that you want to apply to the situation. I generally pick my topics based off of what I feel like talking about, or just things that happen in my life, or, you know, suggestions from the audience, things like that. And, you know, I do my best to be as real and honest with all of you as I can. But every once in a while, someone will come along and have a problem with a topic that I decide to cover because they think it's in poor taste, or whatever reason it is that they decide to leave me a lengthy, extended comment as to why they would have liked my video if I had not talked about this for 15-20 minutes. If the person who left that comment is watching this video, then I'm speaking directly to you. I don't have a problem with criticism per se. I will say that, unfortunately, I don't necessarily deal with criticism. I'd like to say that I am able to completely ignore criticism, but realistically, I can't. I just don't have that ability to just completely wipe that away. But at the same time, I did spend 11 years as a United States Marine, and you can't function in that environment without being able to at least live with that feeling without it overwhelming you. So, you know, while I would love to be able to say that certain comments don't bother me at all, of course they bother me. I want everybody to like the content that I'm putting out, and it kind of sucks when somebody doesn't. At the same time, you kind of have to force yourself to not care that some people just aren't going to like what you have to say, or what you're doing, or whatever. So the person specifically did not like the fact that I was mentioning money in my videos. They have a problem with the fact that I view my channel as a business rather than just something I'm doing because I enjoy making content. You know, people are gonna... What's going on here? Why are we... Okay, my joystick is really messing with my controls here. I don't... What's going on? Anyways, I know that some people really don't like it when people talk about money, and sorry, I don't know what to tell you about that. I talk about what I want to talk about. This is my channel. This is what I do because I'm trying to build something here, and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, not the way other people think that I should do it. And my channel will either grow with me being as honest and just doing what I want, and hopefully people appreciate that, or it won't. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. I'm not gonna bend around trying to accommodate people who think that there's a proper way that you should be running your channel. No, that you run your channel the way you want to run your channel, and then hopefully what you're doing works. And that's all you can do. The idea that money should be an off limits, my hopes and dreams for the future, or what I want my channel to do as far as money goes, or treating my channel as a business, or any of that stuff. The idea that any of that should be off limits is ridiculous, first and foremost. But then anybody who is doing a channel and is trying to be serious about it and doesn't think about the money aspect of it is not paying attention. You have to do that. You are technically, especially once you reach the point where your channel is part of the YouTube partnership program, you're running a business. That's what you're doing, and you need to be thinking about is the time that I'm investing in this worth it? Too many businesses go way too long before giving up on what it is that they're doing because they're so focused on providing a service that they're not paying attention as to whether that service is profitable. And it's easy to sit here and look at YouTube and say that I'm not having to put any cost into it, but realistically, the time that I'm putting into making these videos, there's a cost to that. I could be doing something else that could be making me money, and right now it's not. So the idea that I shouldn't talk about money on my channel is just patently absurd and ridiculous, and I completely disagree with that philosophy for anybody. And realistically, that person didn't like my video, so it's unlikely that they're going to come back and see this, which is fine. I address things because I want to talk about the subject, not necessarily because I expect to have somebody, because I expect to specifically respond to somebody who said something that I disagree with. Now, the other part of that, there was another part of that, and my brain has just completely vaporized it. Talking about money, but then, what was the other part? I'm so sorry. I have completely forgot what the second aspect of that was, and the more I try, it's like a bar of soap. My brain, like, topics in my mind are like a bar of soap sometimes. The more I try to grab it, the more it slips out of my hand and runs away. And the first part was just talking about, the length of time. That's just I'm sorry that for those of you who watch my videos and you feel like I spend a long time talking about a subject, that's intentional. That's not an accident. And that is going to be the way it is every single one of these episodes. I pick one topic and then I talk about it until I feel like I have finished talking about it. And I'm sorry for those of you who, feel like I'm long-winded about it, or, you feel like I go on and on and on about a subject, but that's kind of the point. That's what I'm going for. I'm not trying to hurry up and talk about a subject and then what? I spend the next 10, 15, 20 minutes just narrating what I'm doing. Like, that's not the point. So, I generally try to get these videos to be about 30 minutes, between 20 and 30 minutes. Anywhere in that time frame is pretty acceptable to me. And I have to fill that with something. I have to fill that with conversation. And I'm not going to try to have 3 or 4 different subjects that I come up with, which means that I pretty much end up rambling about a single topic for 20 to 25 minutes. That's just the way that it goes. That's not an accident. It's not... it is very intentional, and it is going to continue that way because that's just the way that I've decided that this particular video series is going to go. And if you don't like it, well, it's YouTube. You have the ability to hit that back button. No comment is required. If you really feel like you need to leave a comment on a YouTuber that has 1.3K subscribers, I would a negative comment. You know what I mean? Especially when your comment... I don't know. I know me. The point I'm trying to get to is not that I'm offended by the person who said what they said. You know, obviously I didn't like their comment, but you know, you're free to leave whatever comment you want. I know I'm not saying this in a way that comes off as the way I want it to. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. The thing that I don't want to say bothers me, but what's the word I'm looking for? Too many people feel the need to make sure that other people know their opinion, and it's like, it's really unnecessary. Like, really, really unnecessary. If you don't like somebody's content, there's no need to leave a comment. There's no need to leave a dislike or whatever it is that you feel like you need to do. Your opinion is not that important, especially if you're not trying to support the person who's doing it. They don't care about your opinion if you're not helping them, right? If you don't like my content, I don't care. Your opinion means zero to me. You know, obviously we all have that biological instinct of, you know, somebody does something negative to you and you're going to dwell on that for a few minutes, but you get over it and you move on. And after that, I don't really think about it too much. Unless it sparks a subject that, you know, I feel like I could talk about for a decent amount of time. And I just think that the culture that we have, the human nature that we have, where people feel like their opinion is so important that they're going to sit and write paragraphs of a comment, thinking that they're going to change somebody's mind, and it's like, why are you wasting your time? You could have hit the back button and watched 2 or 3 videos probably in the amount of time it took you to write your comment. Like, I don't care if you didn't like the video. I'm making the videos that I want to make in the hopes that doing that is going to turn into, you know, growing my channel into something that I want. I've never on this channel, I try to be nice. I try to be kind to the people. I try to be supportive. Like, I don't want to be like a jerk YouTuber. I'm not trying, that's not what I'm going for. But at the same time, if you pay attention to my comments section, you've seen me say something to the effect of, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Like, I appreciate people who appreciate my content, and for the rest of you, the back button is easily available, and it should be your primary means of voting on whether you like something or not. If you decide to leave a comment, all you're doing for me, like, I'm not upset that he left the comment. Like, I know it sounds like it because I'm going on about it, but realistically, every comment that somebody leaves on my channel it counts as engagement. It counts as engagement towards my channel. So, you know, I actually appreciate that they took the time to leave the comment from a selfish perspective, because, you know, they're helping out my metrics. But, you know, there's the selfish side of you, and then there's the side of you that goes, You seriously spent all that time writing this lengthy comment for a channel that is barely making money, and, you know, I want to grow, and you think that you're gonna school me on how to make it work? Like, no, that's not how this goes. I don't know. What people really need to get to, especially, you know, people who think that they're intelligent and they're not. You need to understand that there is so much content available to you out there. If you don't like what somebody says or what somebody does, unless they're doing something that is breaking terms of service or is truly horrible, like illegal or something like that, your reaction to a video that you don't like should be the back button. That's it. That should be the only response that you have to a video that you don't like. I mean, seriously, that's it. That should be all it is. You know, you're free to leave it. I don't believe that you should be blocked from making comments. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm saying that just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. And too many people think that they should leave comments on videos just because, oh, I have an opinion on this. Like, okay, you're free to leave your opinion. I refuse to block people. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. So, like, and that's that. I get myself into trouble when I talk about things like this, because I'll say one thing and then people will think that I'm being either hypocritical or inconsistent or whatever. Like, I believe that people should be free to say what they want to say. But at the same time, I also believe that they should be taught / humiliated into not doing certain things that they shouldn't be doing, because just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. You should be free to do it if you want, so long as you're not hurting anybody. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. So no matter what I say, no matter how I say it, no matter having been married twice now, I've learned that you can't explain your way out of someone else's point of view. They're going to think what they're going to think about you. So I have no illusions that anybody who thinks the way that this person thinks is ever going to hear any of my arguments and actually have a change of heart about what they said or what they think, or, you know, agree with me that they just really shouldn't have left the comment in the first place. Because they think differently than I do, and that's just the way it is. You're not. I learned a long time ago that you're never going to convince somebody who doesn't want to be convinced. The only people whose mind you can change are those people who haven't made up their mind yet, and that's just the way it is. People who have established personalities, people who have decided how things should be, and that's just the end of the story for them. You can talk until you're blue in the face, and it's never ever going to change their mind, because, you know, that's just human nature. Once you've decided on something, only some kind of insane situation is going to jar you enough to actually get you to seriously reconsider it. That's just the way it goes, and that's fine. As long as your argument, or as long as whatever it is that you're arguing for doesn't affect me, I really don't care. You know, that's just kind of the way that it is. So here we are, 16 minutes in, and I'm still talking about the same subject. It's gonna be that way every episode. That's the way that this works. I have a single topic, and I'm trying to fill time until we finish. The game and my topic of discussion are kind of a hybrid content creation model for this video series, because that's just the gameplay for this isn't interesting enough to hold attention by itself. There's got to be something else, and I can only come up with one topic at a time. I can only really seriously think about one topic at a time, and it's very difficult to try to stack a bunch of different topics into a video, especially because, you know, I have to make a video every day to continue making my metrics the way that I want them to. And if I waste a bunch of topics talking about 3 or 4 topics in a video, I could spread that out over 3 or 4 other videos. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of the way that you kind of have to be as economical as you can be with your time with any kind of business venture, whether it's YouTube or anything like that. You have to treat your time the same way any business owner would treat their time. It's valuable. Time is the most valuable asset that you have. I don't care if you're a billionaire or a bum on the street. We all have the same amount of time. There's nobody gets more time than anybody else. I mean, if you live longer, obviously but I'm just saying, like, my time is just as valuable as any other person's time on the planet to me. It might not be, obviously, it's not worth anything to anybody else, but it's absolutely the most valuable thing on the planet to me. And, you know, if the YouTube thing is, if I start seeing serious signs that the YouTube thing's just never going to go anywhere, I have to pay attention to that. That's not something I can ignore. I can't just focus on making, you know, what I feel is quality content. You know, obviously that needs to be a focus. I'm doing my best to try to make the best content that I feel like I'm capable of making, but, you know, that can't be the only consideration. And to say that to somebody is just ignorant. You don't, I mean, it's clear that you have no understanding of how business works. Just because you want to do something doesn't mean that you're going to be successful at it. Just because you pour your heart and soul into something does not mean that you're going to be successful at it. You know, there's a component of luck. There's a component of timing. There's all kinds of components that decide whether, outside of just your hard work that you put into something, that decides whether you're going to be successful at whatever it is that you're doing. If there is no demand for whatever it is that you have to offer, whether it's a product, a service, entertainment via YouTube or anything else, you know, you're not going to make it. That's just the end of the story. If the product that you're providing is in popular demand, but your specific version of it is not, then no amount of effort or time or whatever it is that you put into it is going to change that fact. The circumstances have to be right for you to thrive. And if you're unwilling to recognize that, you know, whatever it is that you're doing is not working, and you're not willing to pivot, whether it is, you know, completely changing the way you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, or abandoning it and moving on to something else that is going to work, then, you know, You're wasting your time. So that's mostly a response to one particular thing they said in the comment is, you know, I should just be focusing on making quality content. Yeah, I should be focusing on making quality. That should be a focus, but it shouldn't be the only focus. There needs to be more than just making good videos. You can't just think about it that way. So, I don't know. I guess this is a response video to one single comment, and part of me hates doing that because it makes it makes me come off as seeming like I was overly offended by it. You know, obviously I was a little bit offended by it, but not so much that I'm like losing sleep over it. It's just the comments that they made sparked a critical thinking process for me, and as I went through the arguments in my head, I realized, you know, no, I really don't agree with you. It's not just you said something negative against me. I genuinely just don't agree with your thought process. Number one, a content creator is free to talk about whatever they want, and the audience will either like it or they don't. And all I have to do is look at my metrics to know that, for the most part, the people who watch my videos enjoy it. My like to dislike ratio on almost all of my videos is very high. And, you know, watch time in general, especially for my Elite Dangerous stuff, generally tends to be pretty okay. You know, I don't remember. I was only halfway paying attention. Was that our first one? My watch time for my videos, especially for this series, tends to be relatively high. Did we finish that? We had to have finished that. Okay. Well, then let's see if we can find the bacteria here, because we're already past the 20-minute mark, and I'd rather not go flying off to another system. So, you know, I don't say those things to try to like be bragging or anything like that. It's more along the lines of just justifying the fact that, you know, what I'm doing is sort of working. Like, I'm being myself, I'm doing things the way I do them, and, you know, if enough people enjoy who I am as a person in general, doing things the way that I do them, then I will be able to sustain it. If I have to pretend to be something that I'm not, then I'm never going to be able to do this long term. I have to be me. I have to do things the way that I do it. So that means that, you know, some of my videos are going to be negative because I tend to have a negative outlook on certain things. You know, that's just kind of the way that I am. Some of my videos will be positive because I do genuinely try to be positive in my life when I can. So, you know, there'll be some waffling back and forth. I'm going to talk about subjects that are important to me, and if those subjects offend people, then, you know, sorry, you need to grow up a little bit. If you can't hear somebody talk about a subject without feeling the need to chastise them for talking about it, then that's a you problem, not an anyone else problem. You need to grow up a little bit and learn to accept that, you know, people are going to do things differently from you, and you don't necessarily need to try to impose your viewpoints on them. People get on YouTube and try to talk about different subjects because they want to share their opinion, they want to, or they want to do something creative, or they just want to kill some time and have some fun and hopefully make a little bit of money while they do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And as long as they're not doing things that are just, you know, seriously morally objectionable, you should probably just keep your mouth shut unless you just want to support them. I don't know. But realistically, I know that what really happens is that just people feel a need to be heard, whether anybody wants to hear them or not, and that's just the way that it is. You're never going to stop people who feel the need to open their mouth to convince them to close their mouth, and that's just the way that it is. And I fully accept that, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to respond to comments when I feel like it provides me with a subject, or provides me with a subject that will allow me to A, fill up an episode with some conversation, and B, you know, reveal a little bit of my thought process and how I think about things to my audience, because, you know, there are some of you who genuinely enjoy what I'm putting out, and I'm appreciative of that, and you guys are the ones I make content for. Everyone else, there's a phrase that I would like to use. It's called "kiss my ass." I don't generally cuss because, you know, I try to keep the commentary here family friendly, but, you know, I disagree wholeheartedly with the thought process that just because you didn't like something means you need to open your mouth. I don't ever leave negative comments on anybody's video. I don't think I've ever left a single negative comment on a video. If I'm watching a video and it's boring or they're saying something I don't like, there's only one action that I take, ever. It's the back button. And that's the action, that's the only action that most people should take most of the time, 99% of the time. The only action you should be taking is press the back button and find something else to watch. It's not your job to coach content creators into making content that conforms to your personal preferences. It's your job to find content creators that you like to watch and then watch their videos. And that's it. And if you want to, you know, provide them with some support by saying good job, or you want to become a channel member, or whatever it is that you decide you want to do to try to be supportive of the work that they're doing, that's absolutely something you should be doing. Now, leaving negative feedback, even like there's constructive criticism and then there's just negative feedback. I'm totally fine with constructive criticism. You'll probably get a relatively in-depth response from me, either agreeing with some of what you say or completely disagreeing with your entire opinion, if you're leaving what appears to be genuinely constructive criticism. But if you're just complaining about a video because you didn't like it, then, you know, you're going to get a thank you for your comment from me, and that's about it. So if you get a thank you for your comment from me and you were trying to leave some kind of criticism, you didn't do it in a very good way, because it came across to me as just you're complaining at me. And I'm not going to waste my time addressing comments that are just complaints. I don't care. Your opinion, unless you are somebody who has been following the channel for a while, and I know that you've been following the channel for a while, your opinion doesn't really mean anything to me. And especially if you're a channel member and you have an issue, you know, I'm obviously going to place a lot more weight on your opinion than I do on some random stranger, because you're actually putting your money where your mouth is and you deserve some extra attention. That's the way that goes. But just random people on the internet, you know, I'm not going to waste a bunch of time on that. Where did this? I'm about to say there should be a third one here. So anyways, I was mostly just trying to continue talking until we finished off our genetic sampling here, but we're going to go ahead and call that an episode. Hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button if you did, so that the YouTube algorithm will know and send the video out to as many people as possible. If you are not a subscriber, please consider doing so now, so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your feed and you will be able to watch it as soon as it becomes available. I was trying to put out my binoculars. I thought I was in my hunting game. Channel members do get early access to all of my content, so be sure to click that join button, check out the list of options available there, and decide if any of those are right for you. If you don't want to do a commitment in the form of a channel membership, you can leave YouTube's version of a tip with that thanks button. Direct contributions such as these are greatly appreciated and a critical component to helping to turn this channel into a full-time gig, which is the dream. Also, I'd just like to do another reminder for that GoFundMe for our mother-in-law's car. She really needs to get that taken care of, and every little bit helps. So again, thank you very much for your time. Hope you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to come back for the next one, and I'll see you then.